Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. As you can see, it's a beautiful, most beautiful autumn Sydney day. I'm down here on this Saturday morning working, and I thought I'd do another book summary given that I've got a lunch break coming up. And today I'm going to go through a powerful, a wonderful and awesome book written by David Goggins, who wrote another awesome book. So he's on the money when it comes to material. He's on the money when it comes to writing stuff that resonates with lots of people. And this book has only been published less than 6 months ago, which gives me great pleasure and pride to be able to bring you material that is fresh, that is new, that hasn't circulated all that much, and give us an opportunity to get a first taste of this material, hearing it first on my YouTube channel, Jim's 5am Club, and seeing whether there are any tidbits, any things within that material that we can use to improve our lives, to improve our knowledge, our wisdom, and make us more productive and better people. So this book is entitled Never Finish, and is an apt title because at the end of the day, throughout our lifetime, we are never finished. We are always work in progress, and we are doing things on a daily basis. Some things take us one step forward, other things take us one step back, but hopefully through our lives we will continue to grow and develop and become better versions of ourselves, so that we can become beacons, we can become examples to others and help them along their path, which of course will be different to ours, but there may be some opportunity along the way to be able to lend a helping hand, because we all live a different life. We all have a different past, we all have a different now. I am here, you are somewhere else, and we're all going to experience a different future. But along the way, we're going to acquire, we're going to accumulate a number of patterns, a number of experiences, a number of pleasures, and a number of pains. And all of those things, when you sum them all up, equate to what our life is, our individual, unique life. So what else can we pick up and run with from this wonderful book? The author here reminds us that we're all going to have challenges in our lives. We're all going to face multiple challenges because we live in a disconnected world, and we live in a disconnected sort of life. So there are going to be times where we're all going to feel slightly disconnected or greatly disconnected. It all depends. But what we need to do is we need to take responsibility, we need to take action to rewire the connections as often as possible between our heart, our mind, our souls, and of those loved ones around us, as well as those who we haven't quite met yet. So the author here says that most of us have a flimsy set of beliefs and a flimsy faith platform that we base everything on, and our faith foundations can quickly crumble when life tests it, when God tests our faith, when God tests our beliefs, and that'll happen many times throughout our lives. What the author here is suggesting is that we're going to be wanting at some point in time, and we're going to feel uncomfortable, we're going to feel disconnected, and we're just going to feel hurt as well along the way. So we need to invest as much as possible, as often as possible, in making sure that we shore up and we reinforce those foundations as best we can, so that we can have layers of redundancy and other opportunities and plans to back us up, and a support structure that will ensure that we don't continue to fail. We may fail from time to time, but that failure is going to be, hopefully, depending on how we see things, to our advantage. So it all depends on how you see things. So what the author here, David Goggins, requests of us, the call to action, is that we need to build faith and belief through layers of pain, fatigue, and reason. So all of the things that happen to us in our lives are happening for a purpose, and it's up to us to take those painful times, to take the fatigue that we feel, and to interpret it in a productive and an empowering way that will serve us not only now, but also into our future. So the author, once again, like many other authors, reminds us time and time again that material possessions don't build, maintain, or support our faith and beliefs. You know, we need to struggle and to understand that life in many ways is going to be thankless and challenging. But along the way, we may not see the wins, we may not see the gains, because many of them will remain invisible. Because the author reminds us that our lives are going to be staccato in their progress. You're going to have up days and you're going to have down days. You're going to be challenged, but you're going to have invisible wins, small wins that once you piece together will translate and transform into bigger and more meaningful things as time goes on. One of the greatest lessons that I've learnt in my life is that life happens in lag time. Just like when you look up at the stars at night, you look up at the wonderful and the amazing galaxies and the Milky Way, to think that everything that we see is just our interpretation, just our imagination. Because some of the stars that we see in the sky, whilst we see the light in the sky, the fact remains that that star may no longer be there. That star may be billions of light years away, or thousands of light years away, or even a light year away. But the star that you see in the sky tonight is not the star that is actually there, but it's the light that we receive, that we interpret, and we fill in the gaps and see it as being real, but it may not be real at all. That star may have vanished thousands of years ago, but it's only now after lag time, that light from that star has actually reached us. So once again, the author here is very direct and very forthright in his message and in his communication style, which I like about him. He's a man of military background. He's a man of fact, not fiction, and he calls a spade a spade. And it's quite refreshing, actually, given that we live in a world of PR and we need to be careful with what we say, and you no longer know the difference between a man and a woman, and everything seems to be okay. But he's very, very direct in his communication. So the author here reminds us that we need to find comfort in our lives from the many demons that we have, from the many fears, the insecurities, and to take them on head on. The only way you can take life on is you've got to take it on head on, according to this author, and not to shy away, not to spend all your time fighting, but to learn to dance in a way that's going to give you the opportunity to guide life in a way which is going to benefit you and your loved ones, to serve God, to support and love your neighbour as you love yourself. But what we need to do is we need to unpack the heaps of baggage that we've picked up along the way. There's lots of experiences, both positive and negative, that burden our baggage, according to this author. And from time to time we need to unpack that baggage in order to make room, to make some valuable room, to create a vacuum to enable other experiences and other meaningful, productive things to come into our world, to come into our life. And that means from a material perspective, but it also means from a relationship perspective, an emotional perspective, and a spiritual, most importantly, a spiritual perspective. We need to make way, we need to fast, we need to live a life and do things that are God-pleasing in order to maximize the time that we have in this world. So the author here encourages us to stop being preoccupied with the BS that surrounds us, to be focused, to be clear and to clear out and to make room, and to understand that denial is self-protection, but it's also self-limiting. We can live in denial for part of our lives, for moments of our lives, but if we live in denial all our lives, then it's going to steamroll our dreams, and it's going to cause us bigger and more painful issues later on. So we shouldn't be preoccupied, we shouldn't be distracted from the main goal, from the things that are our calling or callings. We need to identify what our strengths and weaknesses are, and to use those strengths, those talents, those charismata, those talenta. We need to use them in the best way we can to serve God and to serve and to support each other. So the author says something else which is quite dramatic and quite interesting, where he says that life does not take days off. While we like to kick back and relax and take it easy, the author here reminds us that our lives are constantly moving. Life is constantly churning away, constantly working away. And we need to understand and keep our guards up and to be neptic and to be focused on the road ahead of us, because at any point in time life is going to deliver a semi-trailer coming around a blind corner that is going to catch us unawares and change our lives forever. So we need to be on call 24/7. We need to be focused, and we need to be doing those things that are going to generate the biggest outcomes and the best outcomes in our lives. Else we fall into the trap of wasting our beautiful lifetime the one lifetime that we have on things that are not productive, that are not empowering, that are not serving either God or our neighbour. So some powerful messages coming from this author that are worth considering and worth thinking about. So the author then goes on to say something else. So this book is jam-packed with some really powerful stuff, as I mentioned. He says how we speak to ourselves in moments of doubt is crucial to who we become as a person and how we live our lives. And he encourages us, this is quite interesting, I've never thought of this, but he encourages us to record, to take recordings of our internal dialogue so that we can fix ourselves. And the sort of technique that he talks about is to record yourself in the morning when you wake up and to just capture it as a recording in terms of what you're thinking, just to verbalise what you're thinking so that you can understand a little bit better what's going on inside your head. Because we shouldn't be letting negativity colonise our mindset. I love that terminology. Don't let negativity colonise your head. And we need to get off the merry-go-round of emotions, fears, uncertainty and doubt, and not to lead a life based on emotion, but to lead a life, our life, based on our goals, our values, our actions, our choices that are deliberate, and not just be a drifter in life where we just go wherever the water goes. So life, our fears, our emotion often sap us of our focus and drive. So what the author here wants us to seriously consider and do is to recreate yourself in your own mental lab, and to always say to yourself, never fear, whatever your name is here. So for me to say, never fear, Paniaris is here. And for you to say, never fear, whatever your name is here. And we must, and we are encouraged, we are really encouraged by this author to turn our might do's into must do's. I remember Anthony Robbins harping on this in a big way. You know, whatever you want to do in life, it needs to be not a want to do, it needs to be a must do. Or, you know, it shouldn't be a might do, it needs to be a must do. We need to be deliberate in what we're doing. And we need, as a basis, as an important foundation, we need a hard core set of values that are yours. They're not your parents, not your grandparents, not your uncles, your aunts, not your friends, your school friends, your workmates. It's not the Rainbow Brigade's values. It's not your politicians' values, but your set of values that you've created deliberately based on what you want to achieve in life and what God's plan is for you in terms of your calling or callings. And you need to inherit through role modelling and through other people who are successful by trying to learn what makes them tick, because what makes them tick in a specific aspect of their lives may also be used in your life. And these values, these hardcore set of values that are yours, need to also be not negotiable. Once you set them in place, then you need to continue living your life to your set of values and not to dabble here, there and everywhere else. And if you're not achieving the outcomes that you desire in the time frames that you've set yourself, then you need to look at your approach and to vary your approach from occasion to occasion in order to find another path to the outcome that you're trying to achieve. There's more than one way to get to the number 10 It can be 5 plus 5, 6 plus 4, 7 plus 3, 8 plus 2, 9 plus 1, 11 minus 1, 2 times 5, you name it. There are many, many ways to achieve an outcome, and you'll figure it out along the way as long as you know where you're heading, because you can't stop a man, you can't stop a person who knows where they're heading, you can't stop a person who knows where they're going. So we need to keep working to build and keep match fitness. We need calluses in aspects of our lives. We need muscles, we need strong ligaments, we need strong emotional, physical, mental and spiritual ligaments and calluses that are built on those, and muscles that are attached to those, so that we can do the heavy lifting when we need to do the heavy lifting. And we need to avoid at all costs going soft in our life. We need to stick to our dream, we need to stick to our mission, we need to leverage, expand and sweat our charismata, our virtues, our beliefs, our faith, so that we fully express within our lifetime our servitude of God, to serve, to love and to devote ourselves with all our heart and mind to God and His mission, because we are partners in His creation, and to help each other. Because when we become wealthy, when we become stronger, when we become better, these are God's gifts to each and every one of us, to not use for our own selfish actions, but to use those things to do good in the world, to the people around you, and to help others to salvation, to find the right road, and for them to be able to use their virtues, their gifts, their skills, their connections, their money, to do better for themselves in order to help others along the way. But you need to invest in yourself first. You need to develop your better self first in order to be able to give and to help to others. So we need to keep building the calluses. We need to avoid going soft, except for going soft in our heart. We need to do the right thing. We need to be the right person, and we need to express who we are meant to be, and to do the things, as I mentioned before, that are God-pleasing. So, and we should never ever, according to this author, drop our guard, and we should be very cautious of too much praise. My spiritual father always talks about the fact that he gets really worried when people are praising him lavishly, because he knows that through praise you can't really grow. You need people to be giving you constructive criticism on how to improve and how to expand and how to become a better version of yourself. So once again, an important lesson there on praise. And going back to what we're saying here, we shouldn't become too comfortable. Of course, David Goggins is a man with a military sort of attitude, and he himself says that we should be pushing ourselves really, really hard every single day, every single moment, every single second, in fact, he mentions, because it's in those seconds, it's in those decisions, it's in those moments that we become productive and powerful. You know, within a second, within a heartbeat, you can fall in love. Within a heartbeat, in a second, you can do evil. You can think evil at the same time. So we need to be very, very mindful and keep our guard up, according to this author, at all time, and not quit, because quitting is, according to this author, a decision and a response, a negative response to stress. We're not handling stress in a productive way, and that causes us to give up, because we can't see that the bend in the path, or what the path looks like an end, is a bend. So we need to consider our first, second and third level consequences and our first, second and third level outputs and benefits and rewards to keep us going, to keep us moving along the path of life. When it comes to life, according to David Goggins, he says that life is built on seconds that you must win. You've got no choice. There are moments in the game of life, there are seconds on the time clock of life that you just simply must win, because they're small, but they're very, very important. We only have moments of weakness to battle. You know, a lot of people think that life is just one massive fight, one massive competition, one massive battle. But David Goggins here reminds us that we only have moments of weakness that we need to be aware of and we need to work with in order to maximise our potential outcomes. We need to think of the consequences at every decision point and not to buckle under pressure, not to buckle under stress, but to remind ourselves that there is a better day, there's a rainbow following the storm, there's a beautiful sunny day following the cloudy morning. Just to be positive, just to be productive in your mindset, so that we have better memories and better opportunities to make the best decisions in those 86,400 seconds in a day. And losing even 1 second, according to this author, one of those seconds, one of those 86,400 seconds, you lose one of those seconds and it can change your life in a negative way or a positive way forever. So, we need to understand another thing that this author talks about. I love this. I absolutely love this, because I remember hearing this as a golf analogy years ago, where golfers would always say that they're not competing against other golfers. When they're out on the golf course, they're competing against the golf course. And what David Goggins says is that not only are you not competing against anybody else, the only person you're competing against is yourself, your mindset, your thinking. You are thinking in a productive way or a negative way. So what you think is what's going to impact you. So always think, according to Dave Goggins, that it's me versus me. It's not you versus your wife. It's not you versus your kids. It's not you versus your parents, your grandparents, your uncles, your aunts, your school friends, your workmates, your church fellow persons. It's you and only you against you, yourself. So the author here also reminds us, and I like this as well, this is really, really powerful, that life has many false summits. False summits meaning you do something, you sit back and you love yourself, you love your achievement. But David Goggins says a lot of these summits are false summits because there is no end game of challenge. Life is just one continuous, eternal now. This moment is now gone into the past. We are living an eternal now, and we've got to know that there is no end game of challenge. We need to embrace the suck. Life is going to be made up of moments, many days of 86,400 seconds, where there's going to be hard times and good times. And the hard times, according to Dave and according to me and according to everybody you could ever speak to in your life, the hard times, the challenging times, are never ever going to end. In fact, we're all encouraged to embrace and welcome the hard times, because it's through the hard times, through the challenges in our life, that we actually grow, develop, and become who we are. So we need to embrace the suck. We need to lean just outside our comfort zone on a regular basis, and to not spend all our life, all our money partying. Not every day is going to be your birthday. Not every day is going to be busker. You know, you need to fast from time to time. You need to stand back. You need to prepare, and you need to embrace the suck, acknowledge the suck, and to know that life is going to be throwing curved balls at us all the time, one after the other, and to be ready for it, willing to accept it, and willing to bash it and smack it out of the park, and to know that hard times will never end, and we're going to be on a journey of struggle, but to know that all the pain, all the challenge, all the discomfort that we feel along the way is just normal. Doesn't matter who you are, you're going to have those things in your life. And the sooner that you realise that life is like that, and that you need to embrace it, and you need to solve the many problems that come your way, and the person who has the most problems and can solve the most problems ends up becoming the greatest contributor to God's creation. So we're here to solve problems, not to create problems, but to help us solve our problems. And we solve problems by taking them head on, by not being emotional, by being rational, and by seeking help, seeking God's help, and seeking help from our friends and family, or people who are in a position to be able to help us. So there you go. That's a first cut of where I'm up to in this book summary, and I'll add more to it with time. But Dave Goggins is a very, very powerful speaker, a very influential writer, who's got a style, as I mentioned before, that resonates with me, and I hope it resonates with you as well. So take a moment to have a look at this book, which is entitled Never Finished, and spread the news. Hopefully you'll have heard of this book for the first time through this video channel, this YouTube channel. I'm very proud to say that as of today, I've achieved a little milestone. I've got my 200th subscriber over the 3 years that I've been running this channel, and I do hope that one day I can get to 1,000. Who knows? Doesn't bother me. I don't do it for the likes. I just do it for my own personal development, and to be able to pass this on where possible to my family, my friends, and whoever else can gain from these messages. Take care, everybody. Yassas. And until next time, I look forward to coming to you from a different place with a different message of empowerment, where we can learn from OPE, other people's experiences that cost us nothing, and we can just add it to our inventory of patterns, of solutions that hopefully, or someday, we may want to tap into them, but hopefully we don't have to on a regular basis. Yassas, take care, and bye for now.